Hey guys, how's it going? And welcome to another video here on the PokerStaples channel. So this is something I've been keeping a little bit secret over the past week or so. I shut down my stream on Sunday shortly after I busted the Sunday Million and the Red Spade Open, which was disappointing, but I had a few other tournaments going on the side. And I happened to run deep in one of those tournaments. So I recorded it, and now I'm going to do some audio basically of that tournament run and show you guys basically what happened, and it should be a surprise to pretty much everyone. And my intention is I'm going to talk through the decisions. I may skip a little bit through the video. It's an hour and a half recording, but I'll sort of be skipping if I'm not in a hand or there's not a lot interesting to talk about, and our awesome editor Jordan will cut out a lot of the slack to hopefully make it concise and interesting to watch. So let's get into it. This is actually a video. You can see that is not the mouse there. So just going to click play, and we're going to get after it. Okay, so we're hopping in, and as you can see here, we are down to 26 remaining in this $33 turbo. It's 1,082 for first place, and we're in 5th spot right now with 35 left. So that's sort of where we're going to be at and what we're going to be doing. And basically, if I get dealt a bad hand or something, I'll probably just skip forward 30 seconds and try and find where we're at. So it is a turbo. It's a very fast tournament, and you'll see pretty soon things went relatively well in a lot of the all-in situations, but it's not like a deep stack tournament, you know. It's not like a normal tournament where you're going to be able to 3-bet and fold or put on a turn barrel or something like that. A lot of it's going to come down to short stack situations and deciding whether to call a shove, whether to shove yourself, whether to squeeze all in, etc. So we're going to go over some of those spots today. This is the first time I reviewed this too, so hopefully I can disagree with my past self and find some things I need to look into. Okay, just timing out with the deuce 8. Okay, no, we made it. King 6-7 on the flop against Nixon Bren. It's an interesting one. If they check here, they decide to bet, and I think just folding is the right decision. If they check, we could consider betting with 3 to a straight. You know, with some good turns, right? Like a 9 or a 10 or a 5 or whatever would have given us the gut shot. Or an 8. But thankfully we don't have that situation. Okay, so we skip forward. Ox basically shoves here. They raised it up to 3,600. They have 10,000 in their stack. They're basically shoving all in. They get it in against Uber Slug and hold. So Ox is going to double up. As you guys can see, my Javaro HUD wasn't working this day, so you have the name of the tournament here in the bottom left. You don't have our position because it has the now playing thing, which is part of my overlay. I can't remove that without redoing my overlay, but that'll happen soon. But basically, I pull in the lobby a bunch, and you guys should get a sense of you know, what's happening. So pocket sevens here. This is an interesting spot. I think you could shove for 21 big blinds. You could also call normally, but they raise so large, you know. It's like more than 3 times the big blind. So I think we just need to shove in this situation. Ends up ace, king, queen, 8. We flop the nuts. Whew. I mean, not the nuts, but like pretty good flop in a 3-way all-in, and we end up taking that down. So we're up to 72K now, which is going to put us probably first place in the tournament, I'd guess, based on the other stacks here. Poker Lord taking a weird line. I don't really like it. You know, there's no reason to make it 3.8 times the big blind there. They just make it a more raise because it sort of turns face up what sort of hands we're dealing with. If they would have made it a normal raise, potentially we would have called pre-flop, but the standard play is definitely going to be to shove there. All right, so let's skip forward a bit. We have deuce 9. It's interesting. So I'm using like Windows Media Player, and it has a 30 seconds forward, but a 10 seconds back button, which is like, just make it the same on both. All right, ace 5 suited. Let's sort of peruse the table here. Let's say this opponent folded. I like opening. We would have to call this 10 big blind and this 8 big blind stack. But really, we're only through 5 people. Once we see a limp here, they're a little bit passive. I think it's probably too aggressive to raise this up and try and isolate from this position, but it's close. I'll see what I do. Yeah, I do go for the ISO here. Okay, so I'm gonna make it. Yeah. Oh, well, I was thinking the same thing. It looks like it seems like I went through that same process in my mind. So I'll take it. All right, let's skip forward a bit. Pocket tens. We raise it up under the gun. It looks like here, and Sabzareb shoves. I mean, there's not a ton to talk about in this situation. It's just like they're all in for 10 big blinds. We have pocket tens, one of the very best hands in no limit. We call. Even if LG also called, we'd call too. Tens against nines. Hey, flopping the quads, daddy. Not bad. Take that down up to 89k. Shove here. It would have definitely been an all-in if it folded to us, but I think we have to fold against LG Born to win, so we'll just move on to the next hand. And blinds are up to 800, 1600. 9-8 suited. So it's a spot where we can't really call shove. We could open shove ourselves if it goes fold-fold, which I think is the right move. Would be a profitable jam. Now this is kind of a gross spot because 9-8 suited, it does okay, like when called by the ace kings, the ace queens, the ace jacks and stuff like that. It's a hand that has a lot of equity, so it's one you could consider 3-bet shoving. But I think what we should think about here is Poker Lord is opening into a short stack here, the chip leader most likely, a short stack here, and a short stack here. They just don't have very many bluffs, and they also have a vulnerable stack themselves. So that should be a little bit worrying. And also we saw them make that play with the ace king, which was like a really big raise. Now this is a different sizing, but it probably means that like if they're choosing to make it that sizing with that hand, that they might not be stealing as much as like an aggressive regular would. So I think fold is good here. And I do that, which is sweet. Yeah, we're in first place there, you can see. First place with 86k. Remember, we had such a huge chip lead at this point. Like, whew, so sick. Uber Slug shoves. Back on Poker Lord, who folds. So maybe it would have worked, or maybe Uber Slug had the nuts. Kings. Oh, the king and the king, man. This is what you need to run deep in tournaments, you guys. You need some big situations, especially turbo tournaments like this. You need some luck. It's funny I say that because pretty sure I lose this one. I remember, which knocked me down to the rest of the field, took me out of the chip lead, and put me back in the pack. So that was a frustrating one, but that's okay. It's really interesting. So on my stream, I think we should comment on this 5. So I have 5s here, and I decide to fold. I think that there's quite a lot of good opponents here, like 5 seniors behind us. We don't want to call reshoves from LG or Kimmy Schmidt or Solid Thought. Like, we're going to get in a flip situation with everyone being pretty equal stacked, 22 left. And if anyone takes us post-flop, it's a spot where we're going to have a lot of trouble. Also, Leonidas and Ubers here have a good stack to 3-bet us. And we have a very easy stack to 3-bet. We have like 27 big blinds. Where if we make it 2 and they make it 6, we have to risk a lot by 4-betting all in. You know, it's not an easy 4-bet. So I think that's why I pulled the 5s. It's borderline. But, you know, I open 6s. It's the line. But I think the fold is fine. So I say that about the bad beat with kings versus nines, but it's very different streaming as opposed to not streaming, right? It almost takes me back to my origins with poker, which is a different experience playing poker without streaming, right? Because in streaming, you're really in share mode, right? You want to share and you want to bring up the reactions inside of you. You know, like don't crush them, but allow them to come forth. So when you get excited or it's just like, you win a flip, you know, if you're grinding, here's me winning a flip. It's just, oh, nice. You know, something like that maybe is me winning a flip, you know? Whereas when you're streaming, it's like you're rooting it on. You're like, come on, hold, let's go, right? You know, it's exciting and it's not like, it's not showmanship or anything. It's just like you're aware that people are there to watch you and be interested in what you're doing. But like when I lost that flip, you can just see it on my face. Like I almost didn't even blink, you know? It's really interesting because I have the video of what I looked like off to the side. And as we get a walk, that's pretty cool. It's pretty cool if, as a poker player, as you get a little bit better at mental game or going through the swings, if you can get to a point where the actual outcome of the hands don't influence your mood very much, you know? And it influences my mood more with streaming because you're trying to bring it up. Anyways, I don't know if that's interesting, but all right. So we have 10-6 suited on the button. This is close. I remember thinking in this one. I remember thinking I was gonna raise. I think I ended up folding, which I like. Uber Slug, good player in the small blind, has a good stack to 3-bet us. Leonidas as well has a reshove stack. They're both good players. I think folding is fine. See if I do fold or yeah, there it is. Okay. Which you see me make the move that's standard a lot, you know? You see me click out like the move that you would find if you didn't consider the other variables. You'll see my mouse move that way. But then when I think through it, I'm like, no, okay. Like, oh, 10-6 suited is a hand I'm going to open on the button. But wait a second, there's the stack, and there's 2 regulars behind me, and this is a good 3-bet stack I fold. You can sort of watch my progression of thought just based on where my mouse is. Because this was Sunday night, you know, maybe 6 p.m., 7 p.m., something like that. Just played a session. Everyone on Twitch Poker was running super deep. I had some great runs, some hype opportunities. I just busted the Sunday Million, just busted the Red Spade Open, like busted 3 or 4 things at the same time. So I was a little bit down, and I didn't have enough hype to sustain viewers. There's just too many better options. So it was definitely a spot where like, I was just like, post Sunday, just making good poker decisions, but hanging out, you know. I wasn't doing anything. My girlfriend was hanging out in the room a little bit. I was talking to her, like, you know, it's very one-dimensional. As we fold there. Oh, the aces. Is there anything else? Took 10 seconds. Right, my internet kept disconnecting this day. I also had to shut down the stream for that reason because the delay kept getting longer. Okay, so I raised up the aces. This might not have been Sunday. This wasn't Sunday. This was like Saturday or something. Yeah, I think I shut down the stream this day, although I did do that Sunday as well, but I didn't have this deep run in this tournament on Sunday. I did the same thing where I played some tournaments late. This was from Saturday, and I was streaming, but the internet kept dropping like every 2 minutes and adding a minute to the delay, which made it sort of unwatchable. So that's why I shut this down. I remember now. My bad. All right, so we take it down with aces after the disconnect. 5-8 suited in the big blind. Okay. Pretty reasonable. Open, solid thoughts, basically all in. And we've got to be down to the final 15 or something like that right now. If I had to guess, like the recording is an hour and a half. Spoilers, we make it to the final table. So it can't be, you know, we can't be playing non-final table that long. Aces against ace 8. And GG, we lose another. Yeah, so we're down to 12 players at this point, guaranteed $93. You can just take a quick look. 9th place is $113, 150, 200, 264, 350. Here's sort of the 12 remaining names in the tournament. Been running for 2 hours at this point. December 2nd was the date that I played this. For the deuce 8, even against this 1.5 big blinds with Uber Slug behind. If it's a weak player, you could isolate it. Like, any 2 cards is going to be profitable just against Kimmy. But the thing is, Uber Slug is going to play quite well against our, you know, our plays, so. That's it. We're down to 11. 11 or 10, depending on the other table. 6 deuce, just going to be a fold. What did we fold here? 6-5. Not a lot to talk about there. Like, just got to be straightforward. 7-10 under the gun is another fold. All right, we're 11-handed. Now we have Jack 3 suited in the big blind. Can't call a shot from Leonidas against LG Born to Win. It's kind of uncomfortable. We do have a suited hand, and we'd be getting 3-1 against a min raise, so I think we should probably call against LG Born to Win. And against Poker Lord in position, I think we should call as well. But we just get a walk, and that's it. Blinds up to 12-24, 6-4. I think I should just fold this in the small blind against Uber Slug. Given we're 11-handed, we have some payout implications coming into play now, right? We don't want to get in huge pots with marginal hands, and Uber Slug's good. So again, just like tightening up a little bit is fine. Same with the King. This is close. This is close with King 7. Because the thing is, Leonidas has like 7 big blinds, 6.5. So against that, like King 7 against an any 2 here, even if they end up shoving, it's just going to be really profitable. So the question is, how much is Uber Slug going to play back? I think it's a close spot with King 7 offsuit. I don't fault myself either way. I don't know at this moment which I prefer, honestly. Probably fold. Yeah. Okay. All right. It's close, though, I think. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments what you think about the King 7. 6-5 offsuit. We're going to be folding that. And we are down to 10-handed now. Or we're on the final table and we're waiting for the other table. I'm not sure. 6 deuce, have to fold to any action unless it's a limp. Even a min raise. Oop, did I just screw that up? There we go. Okay, sorry if I messed that up, guys. I think it should be fine. You can see everything there. Raise, fold, and are we... So we're 10-handed still, and we have 31 December move into our table. King 6, the default strategy is going to be limp here and then fold to aggressive action. So I think that's fine. Sometimes we're going to get to see a flop with our King High, and sometimes they're going to put us in a spot with our chip stack, and that's fine too. But this is not a hand we want to limp re-raise or we want to open raise. It's just... let's get in there cheap or not at all. And of course, we're going to have balance here too. Like, we're going to have strong hands that do this. that Uber Slug can't just relentlessly punish us because they're going to be raising with weaker hands than what we limp. Queen 9 offsuit, marginal, but again, given stacks, I think a fold. So let me skip forward. And we have ace 8 of diamonds. So remember this one, it's kind of interesting, right? We have 20 big blinds. We can't call a shot from LG Born to Win. We have the chip leader on the left that can put a lot of aggression on. And Poker Lord, who we remember 3.5x to that ace king. So it's a bit of a dicey one here. We don't love it opening in this spot, but it's too strong, in my opinion, to fold. So it's a little bit too nice of a hand. So we'll open. We do get 3 bets to 12,500, and that's really quite small, but the problem is that it's so hard to realize our equity, and ICM is a big thing here. Like, a lot of our stacks are very equal. So I would have folded to the 12-5 re-raise, but now we see a 4-bet, and it's very clear it's just a fold. And that was a light 3-bet from Uber Slug. Okay, waiting for the hand for hand. Oh, we skipped a couple hands there. Okay, 10-5, raise full folds, pretty clearly. And the pocket 5s, I think we spoiled in a second here. Should be getting dealt 5s. Full fold, shove. Not a lot to talk about there. Shove and get it through. Let's see what happened on the button. 10-8 offsuit. Again, I think a fine fold with about 18 big blinds here. Let's go next. A7, a fold. I don't think we could shove this profitably. Open shove. So we'll just fold. It's gotta be close though, actually. I mean, with like 16 big blinds, it's close. Ace 8. Damn. What do we do here, man? LG Born to Win playing relatively aggressively. And then 31 December-y. Gonna be tough for them to call like super nutted hands in the small blind. So I think folding is a mistake. I think our hand's too strong to fold. But do we want to squeeze or just call? I think just calling is probably better. At this moment, I think it's better because it's such a good price as opposed to just squeezing it all in and running into better hands quite a bit. So I'd call if it was right now. I folded! I don't know, man. I think that's a little bit too tight. I know payout pressure is a thing, but I mean, we're getting 5.5 to 1 with like a pretty decent ace. So I think we should call. All right, bit tight there, in my opinion. But let me know, again, in the comments. This is another spot where you guys can add your thoughts. Do you agree with past me or current me on that ace 8? Do you like folding because of the spot and the payouts and stuff? Or do you like calling, taking it to the streets? Or do you like squeezing? It's a thought too. Fold the 10-4. Not a lot to talk about there. King 3, gonna fold on the button as well. Raise shove. Uber Slug. Calls. Damn. Ace 9, 10, 7. Is this it? I think it is, yeah. So we have a final table hype. And we didn't do the lemon lion, so there we go. Up past lemon lion, and we pick up ace 8 suited here. So let's take a look at stacks, right? We have shorter, like similar, and then you're starting to get like the bigger stacks. But ICM comes into effect here, payout pressure. It's such a disaster to bust taking like a 2% edge, you know, 2% edge or something, to lose that 48% of the time when you're basically owed more money than ninth. So gambling for that 2% edge actually costs you money in the long run. That's the idea of ICM in these situations. It's pretty easy fold now. The ace 8 suited. So here's the payouts. You can see 113, 150, 200, 264, 350, 464, 615, 816, 1082. And here's the chip distribution. All right, raise, shove, fold. Next, we're back in action. We have Jack 4 suited in the big blind. There's no stacks we can do anything unless, I mean, maybe if there's a min raise from Ben G, we could peel, or Uber Slug, but I don't like the situation. Against DDC, I think I should fold based on the other stacks at the table. And like, we don't want to flop a second pair 4 and check shove again, because edges need to be big at final tables. You need to have big edge situations, or you need to err on the side of caution because of payout pressure. 4-8 is not even a shove for 5 big blinds against his opponent, so we'll just fold. I remember this hand. Look at this. This is so sick. Whew. Raise, call. Georgiev AK in the big. Okay, you can see it here. Shoves, calls. Back on Uber Slug. calls to the flop of 599. There's 100,000 chips in the middle, you guys, which is ahead of average. Like, the winner of this pot is the chip leader. There's more chips in the pot than any one person has chips here. It's sick, especially when it's 6 ways. Checks around to Poker Lord. 9-8, 9-8. They chop it up. That's so sick, I remember. Because we wanted the ladder, right? We wanted the ladder. So for them to not bust and us to stay at the min cash, or the min final table cash, is like not great. 7-9 suited in the button here. I think I remember this. I should shove here. I folded. I think my thinking at the time was basically, again, like we're really similar to everyone here. Like, you know, we're 2 shoves away from being like the same as these stacks. So it's not worth risking it. But then again, I think these opponents have the same pressure on them. And I think it's going to be a good enough hand to shove. But let's see if I ended up doing that. I already had the fold button clicked, so this shove doesn't matter. All right, Queen 7 of hearts. It could be close to. I don't know. I did it so quickly on whenever I played this tournament, so maybe I should look that spot up and take a more in-depth look. Queen 7 is going to be a fold, a shove. King 3, oh, Poker Lord opens early, fold. Ace 8, folds. Queen 10, ugh. So without payout pressure, I think this is a shove. I think it's still a shove, honestly, guys. I think it's still a shove here. It's just a pretty nice hand. I fold. Yeah, I don't know. Something's apparent reviewing this is like, I'm not sure enough on how big of an edge that shove has and whether I should take it or not. So a good takeaway I would take from this, if I was doing this not just for YouTube but for myself, is like, okay, so you're not sure in these spots. Like, you made the decisions in the zone and you were just making the decisions, but now when you're analyzing it, you're not sure as to what decision making, you know? And it should be like the very best players, they have clear and concise answers fairly quickly because they just know it so well. So I should know how big of an edge that Queen 10 has, approximately, and know how much ICM is going to play a factor in terms of how big of an edge we have, like what our risk premium is going to be, and I should be able to come up with an answer sooner. So I should focus more on final table ICM and review that, you know, training material on Raise Your Edge or wherever it is that I'm learning it. 6-3 is going to be a fold, even for a min raise. All right, we're 8-handed, so someone busted. 7's to Queen Jack. So we're going to get the payouts. 150 locked up, 1,082 for the win. King 10, if everyone folded, it'd be a clear shove, but now it's a raise and a call. Going to get out of the way. Jack 9 off, fold on the button. Ace 10, shove it in. Not a lot to say here. About 7 big blinds deep. Fold. Fold. Take it down. I don't remember a lot of these hands either. Raise and a shove and a call. Kings against 9s. Kings take it. Uber slug. Killing the game. They hit the set of 9s against our kings earlier in the tournament as well. They were due one there, but they held.